My friend got rejected from a board position last month. Not because she wasn't qualified. She had the resume, the network, the track record. The chairman told her privately, off the record, "You interviewed beautifully, but at the dinner, you ate like you were in a hurry." And that told us you're still operating like someone who has to prove herself. She was furious, then devastated. Then she called me and said, "What does that even mean?" So I asked someone who would know, a woman who sits on 5 corporate boards and has been wealthy for 3 generations. And she said something I'll never forget. "Darling, after a certain level, nobody cares what's on your resume. They're watching how you eat, because how you eat tells them if you were raised with margin or if you're still running from scarcity." That conversation unlocked something I'd been noticing but couldn't name. Women with real money eat differently, not better food, differently, in ways that signal calm, control, abundance. And once you know what to look for, you can't unsee it. Today we're breaking down the 8 dining habits that separate women who've arrived from women who are still trying to get there. And I'm warning you, some of these will feel absurd until you understand the psychology behind them. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, let us know which city you are watching from in the comments. The myth: how you eat doesn't matter as long as you have good manners. Here's what most women believe: as long as you're not chewing with your mouth open or talking with food in your mouth, you're fine. Basic etiquette covers you. Wrong. Wealthy women know that table manners are the bare minimum. What separates upper class from everyone else isn't if you follow the rules, it's the unspoken behaviors that reveal whether you're comfortable with abundance or performing it. These 8 habits aren't in any etiquette book. They're observational intelligence passed down quietly through generations of women who never had to wonder if they belonged. Let's count down from 8 to 1. Habit number 8. They never fill their plate on the first pass. At a buffet, at a dinner party with family-style serving, at any meal where food is abundant, wealthy women take small portions first. Not because they're watching calories, because taking a heaping plate signals desperation. It signals, "I don't know when I'll eat this well again." Abundance mentality means you know there's more. You can always go back. You're not worried the food will disappear. This habit comes from formal European service traditions where multiple courses are expected. You pace yourself because you trust what's coming. Research from Yale on status signaling found that people who take smaller initial portions at buffets are perceived as higher class and more self-controlled than those who load their plates, even when total food consumed is identical. A woman told me she noticed this at a wedding. The wealthiest guests took tiny portions, went back 3 times. The middle-class guests piled their plates high on the first trip. Same food, completely different signal. Habit number 7. They cut one bite at a time, never pre-cut their entire meal. Watch how someone cuts their food. If they cut the entire steak into pieces before eating, they weren't raised with money. Wealthy women cut one bite, eat it, then cut the next. One at a time, the whole meal. Why? Because pre-cutting your food is what you do for a child. It's efficient, yes, but efficiency at the table signals you're still thinking like someone who has to rush back to work. Upper-class dining is about extending the experience, not optimizing it. This rule comes from British aristocracy and is still taught in Swiss finishing schools. It's one of the fastest visual tells of social class. A study from Oxford on dining behavior found that single-bite cutting is strongly correlated with higher socioeconomic backgrounds, while pre-cutting correlates with working-class origins, regardless of current income. Habit number 6, they never apologize for their order. This one shows up constantly, and most women don't even realize they're doing it. "I'll have the salmon. Sorry, can I substitute the potatoes for vegetables? Just a salad for me. Sorry, I'm not that hungry. I know this is annoying, but could I get dressing on the side?" Wealthy women don't do this. They state their order clearly, make their modifications without apology, and move on. Because apologizing for your preferences signals you believe you're inconveniencing people by having needs, that you're unsure you deserve accommodation. Women with money know the restaurant exists to serve you. Modifications are expected. Your preferences are not an imposition. Research from Cornell on service interactions found that people who apologize when ordering are perceived as lower status and receive slower, less attentive service than those who order confidently without apology. A woman named Rachel said she caught herself doing this and started practicing. "I'll have the steak, medium rare, with the sauce on the side, please. No sorry. No if that's okay. No hedging." She said servers immediately became more attentive. Habit number 5, they eat everything on their plate but leave the garnish. Here's a subtle one that nobody talks about. Wealthy women finish their food. They don't leave half a steak, 3 bites of pasta, a pile of vegetables. They eat what they ordered. But, and this is key, they leave the garnish, the parsley sprig, the lemon wedge, the decorative microgreens. Why? Because finishing your food signals appreciation and proper portion awareness. But leaving the garnish signals, I know what's food and what's decoration. I'm discerning. It's a tiny detail that separates people who've eaten in fine restaurants their whole lives from people who haven't. This habit comes from French haute cuisine etiquette, where garnish is presentation, not consumption. A Parisian chef told me he can identify American tourists versus French diners by this alone. Americans eat the garnish or leave half the dish. French finish the food, leave the decoration. Habit number 4, they drink water between every few bites, not to wash down food. Wealthy women always have water at the table, and they sip it frequently throughout the meal. But they're not using it to wash down food. They're using it to cleanse their palate, pace themselves, and stay present. Gulping water to help swallow food signals you're eating too fast or taking bites too large. Sipping water between bites signals refinement and self-regulation. This also prevents the common middle-class tell of finishing your drink long before your food and sitting with an empty glass. Upper-class women keep their water glass half full the entire meal through strategic sipping. Research from the Culinary Institute on dining pace found that people who drink water strategically throughout meals eat 25% slower and report higher satisfaction than those who drink reactively. Habit number 3, they never look at their phone, even when dining alone. This is the hardest habit on this list for most modern women, but it's non-negotiable among the wealthy. Phone stays in the purse, not on the table face down, not in the lap, in the purse, even when eating alone. Because pulling out your phone at a meal signals, this experience isn't enough. I need distraction. I'm uncomfortable with my own company. Wealthy women treat dining, even solo dining, as an experience worth being fully present for. This habit comes from old money training where meals are sacred social time and distraction is disrespectful to the food, the company, even if it's yourself, and the moment. A study from the University of British Columbia found that people who use phones during meals report 31% lower enjoyment and connection, even when dining alone, compared to phone-free dining. One woman said she started leaving her phone in her car when going to restaurants alone. The first time was uncomfortable. The third time was liberating. Now I genuinely enjoy my own company at meals, and I've noticed waitstaff treat me with more respect. They can tell I'm not just killing time. Habit number 2, they compliment the food to the server, not just it's good. When a server asks how everything is, most people say, "Great, thanks," and move on. Wealthy women give specific compliments. "The sea bass is perfectly cooked. Please tell the chef the lemon beurre blanc is exceptional. These carrots are incredible. Are they roasted with honey? The wine pairing with this course is brilliant." Why does this matter? Because specific compliments signal expertise and appreciation. You're not just consuming, you're evaluating with an educated palate. It also creates rapport with service staff in a way that generic praise doesn't. Servers remember guests who notice details. This habit comes from European dining culture, where commenting on food quality and preparation is expected, not optional. A former Michelin restaurant manager told me, "We could always tell who had money by how they complimented the food." Specific praise meant they ate well regularly. Generic praise meant they didn't. Habit number 1, they always leave the table cleaner than they found it. And here's number 1, the habit that reveals everything about how you were raised. Before leaving the table, restaurant, dinner party, anywhere, wealthy women do a micro cleanup. They stack their plates neatly. They place their napkin on the table, not crumpled on the plate. They make sure nothing has spilled onto the tablecloth. They push their chair in completely. Not because they're trying to be helpful to the server, because they were taught, leave every space better than you found it. It's a mark of respect and self-respect. This is one of the clearest class dividers. People raised with money do this automatically. People who weren't, don't. A study on prosocial behavior from Princeton found that small acts of consideration, like table cleanup, are the strongest predictors of perceived social class, stronger than clothing, speech patterns, or occupation. A woman named Victoria said her grandmother drilled this into her. She said, "How you leave a table tells people if you're a guest or if you're help. Guests leave the table gracefully. Help leaves a mess." The truth. These habits aren't about food, they're about control. So here's what all 8 habits have in common. They signal that you're not governed by urgency, scarcity, or discomfort. You're not rushing. You're not apologizing. You're not distracted. You're not grabbing. You're present, measured, appreciative, considerate. And that combination of behaviors tells everyone at the table, this woman has margin. This woman operates from abundance. This woman was either raised with money or she's learned the signals so well it doesn't matter. Here's what I want you to do. Next time you eat, whether it's alone, with family, at a restaurant, pick 2 habits from this list and practice them deliberately. Notice how it changes the experience. Notice if anyone treats you differently. Notice how you feel about yourself. Then come back and comment, which 2 habits did you try and what shifted? Because I promise you'll notice something. These habits don't just change how people see you. They change how you see yourself. If this video opened your eyes, 2 things. First, subscribe and turn notifications on, because next week we're releasing the 8 conversation habits that make people instantly respect you at dinner. What to say, what never to say, and how to command a table without saying much at all. Second, share this with one woman who needs to see it. Your sister, your daughter, your best friend. These are the unwritten rules nobody teaches us, and they deserve to know. Thank you for watching. See you next time.